Hey, ladies. Can you hear me and see me fine? I'm trying to get it set up. I don't know how to do this beforehand. Good. So, came on today to show you guys the paper roll I made last night. This is one of the things that I did in my last journal that a lot of people asked me about. So I was just going to come on and show you guys. So if you want to do it with me, just grab some random papers and I'll show you how to do it. But I'll wait for a few minutes for other people to come in and move some of this stuff out of my way. How was your week, ladies? Oh, if you hear the background noise, my husband's getting on his college class. He's got an online class, so. Just a second. Possibly. I don't know. I can't hear, so. Hi, Lori B. Good morning. Yesterday was wonderful. Today is going to be better. Yes. Yesterday at Mary's was so much fun. Did you guys get all the paper you wanted? She had a lot of paper. Hey, Barbara. It's good to see you. Yeah. Yay, you. This is the first time I'm actually doing something productive on a live stream. So congratulations. You made it. Congratulations to me. I'm finally doing it. Is the air conditioner just came on in the background. Can you guys hear that? Is it too loud? Is it distracting, or is it good to go? Good. I'm so glad because it gets hot up here without it on. Let me see. I'm going to text Michelle before she gets mad at me. She gave me her phone number when I was going live, and I forgot to tell her. Oops. Oops, I might not have saved it. Uh-oh. What are you ladies doing today? Are you doing crafting or housework, listening, watching? Let's see. Well, it is what it is, I guess. Sounds like my life. Doing it all. Just how well I'm doing is questionable. What is this? Okay, let's see. Okay. I am not a great multitasker. I can't think and talk at the same time. My husband always tries to talk to me while I'm texting, and I'm like, oh, just wait. Stop. And I'm trying to text Michelle. Of course, I can't find her number. I can't find it. Oh, gosh. Hopefully you find them soon. Or just hang out, I guess. Okay, I don't want to call her. Sorry. Just a second. Another second. Like I said before, if you guys want to do this with me, you can just grab some glue of your choice. I prefer Fabri-Tac just because it doesn't work with your pages. But lots of people use glue sticks, so you can do that. Grab some old paper. You can use whatever color scheme you want. And then, what else? I don't know if I'm going to do any sewing on. You can't see my sewing machine anyways, so I'll just show you, where I sewed, how I sewed when we put together some of the roll. But so just paper. You can have tape if you want, like vintage tape, homemade tape that you've made, or washi tape. And then sewing is pretty much all I do. Oh gosh, Lori. Lori, where did you take them off at? They're not on your bedside table. Okay. So I'm going to wait just another minute. Grab a cup of, or a drink of my tea. Sorry if that's loud. But while, I guess I can show you what I'm doing. Sorry if you hear my husband in the background. He talks briefly throughout his class, so we share the same space. So I'm going to show you why I'm doing this paper roll. So I'm making this journal. Let me see if I can fix. Does that look okay? Is the angle weird? It's backwards for me. So I'll try to. Hey, 1L. There you go. I'm making a paper roll today, but I'm waiting for you because I just found your number again in my messenger. So I'm going to show why I'm making the paper roll and how I make it. And just if you want to make it with us, just grab some papers. You can grab some old ephemera, whatever. Oh, sorry. Whatever theme you want, color scheme you want. Some ledger, regular paper, book paper, scrapbook paper. Grab whatever. And then we'll just add some glue of your choice. So this is why I'm making the paper roll. And when I made my last journal, when we did the flip through on Michelle's channel, I talked about a paper roll and how I made the papers with all the sewing and stuff on them. So I figured I'd come on today and just show you guys how I did that, since I made another one last night. But this is why I'm making it. I'm making this new journal. It's not filled up yet, so it's floppy. But it's botanical. It's actually from Amity Bloom's course. So I'm making that, and it's botanical. I'm really digging these greens and yellows lately with the old papers. So sorry, just making sure to miss anybody coming in. Okay, so this is why I'm making the paper roll. And I'm trying to go along with the, creams, yellows. These two are really my favorite colors right now. And that's the straw paper and the green masking tape paper. You can incorporate those kinds of things into your paper roll also. Or you can do something like this with it's a scrapbooking paper that's just been embossed. You can add that into your paper roll. Any kind of book pages that you want, say, especially if you have a book page that you can't sew into your binding, or you don't want to do like a fabric, what's called a fabric crease, so you can sew it in. You can just take that single page and sew it into your paper roll. And then because it is a journal, you want to have some blank pages. So I use some tea dye papers, some transparency papers. There's another word for that. What's the other word for transparency papers? Hi, Nadine. Hi, Kay. Oh, okay. Well, thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. Transparency paper or vellum. Is that? Yeah, vellum. That's what it is. You can use that in your paper roll. Tea dye papers, fabric even. I incorporated that last night, so I'll show you how I did that. So this is why I'm making the paper roll. Fill up this pretty little journal that I'm working on. And now I'll show you the paper roll. So you guys saw my last journal. When I pick out my papers and everything, there's not really any kind of, as long as they're not super brittle, I'll incorporate them. But you know that I don't care about the torn edges. Those, I like them. They add more characteristic to it, and they make it feel like it's been actually worn throughout time. So I really like it. But this is my paper roll. And I'll just go through it one side, and then I'll show you the other side. Let's see what's the easiest way to do this. I'll just start rolling it from this end so it doesn't get all crazy like. So you can see the book pages. I've got some old checks. And then if you want to do a paper roll, you can do it like this, where it's just one piece of paper and it's just different pieces throughout, or you can do it like this, where it's stacked. So this is a shorter piece of paper and this is attached to it. So I think when you do that, it just adds more texture. Oh, can you hear echo? Or you're just saying, because both you said vellum. Tell me. Okay, so I've got all different sorts of papers in here, all different colors, all different textures. Some of them have holes in them. Some of them have, like this, the eco-dyed paper, all different things. So I'll show you this side, and then I'll turn it over and show you the other side so you can get an idea. Now, this does take a little time just because you're kind of like collaging it and trying to figure out what you want and where you want it. And then you got to glue it, and then you got to sew it, but it's really actually fairly easy. I'd say the hardest part about it would just be keeping it rolled when you're sewing. Okay, thanks, Barbara. So this is actually a digital, so you can use digitals, graph paper. This is where I used I should have used more, but I didn't, the transparency paper. And then this is some embossed cardboard, not cardboard, but cardstock. I got some math book papers, graph papers. And then you'll see on the other side that this time I've actually incorporated some, this is the other side. some fabric. So that's a little fabric. And you can do it wherever you want, however you want. You can sew or not sew. I think the sewing really just adds a cool element to it. And you'll see when I cut these down how in the garage. Well, that's not a great place to leave them, Lori B. I'm glad that you found your glasses. So you can see just the different textures and just interest that it adds to the page with the sewing. Versus without the sewing, all you'd see is just the lines of the paper, which I don't think is, for me, I would just rather take the time to sew it up because it just looks cool. Especially, look at that. That's the first time I ever used that stitch. I think that's so neat. Hi, Jamie. See, and there's some more fabric that I put up there. Some, what's this called? This is just like a stitch that's on my sewing machine, and then this is just a straight line stitch that I just went crazy with. Not really crazy, but, and you see this here, it's torn, right? Well, that's fine, because I'll just put some vintage tape on that. It's a perfect opportunity to add that there, and it's not only aesthetic, but it's also like necessary. So that's what I mean when I have torn pages, and like it's not a big huge deal. Like this was a piece of ledger from the first page. Actually, you'll see it at the very end. It tore off because it was so fragile. It just ripped right off there. So what I did was, this was actually the very beginning of the paper roll. I just turned it and then I sewed it back on. And then with the ledger paper that was too fragile that I had already sewn on, I just went and took some transparency gesso and gessoed it up so it would have a little bit more stability. So then you can see old ephemera, dictionary pages. Sorry if I'm going off camera. I'm just not even paying attention. And then this is the old receipt, excuse me, like tax report. And then back to the very beginning that I showed you on the other side. So that's my paper roll. And now, actually, I'll show you what I do with this. So this is how I make the pages. I know that my pages that I need for this journal, the width of them, I need them to be 4 inches and 4 3/4. So obviously I'm going to be folding those in half. So I'll need 9 1/2. So my length of my paper from my paper roll will be 9 1/2 inches. So then I'll just take, oh, sorry, that was so loud. Hi, bestie. There you are, Penny. Welcome, ladies. So if you just came in, I'm showing off a paper roll that I just did. I just went through it, and now I'm just going to show you what I do with it. So my journal, 4 3/4, and then I need to double that because I'm going to be folding these in half. So I'll cut it off at 9 1/2. And if it's going to go in the middle of the page, it's perfectly fine. So I'm just going to make this, I don't care, I don't want it to be straight. That's just not what I want. So I'm just going to tear it up. And now, let's move this over. Now this is a page. So I take this, fold it in half. This is going to be 9 3/4, and this side's going to be 9 3/4. And now I have a page from a journal. So I just take it and say this was my signature, put that in there. There's the front page, there's the back page of that, and then you go through the signature, and then the end, there's that, and there's that. And it just adds so much decoration. You don't even have to really think about embellishing much when you do this type of already embellished, I don't know what you call it, technique, I don't know, thing. Sounds great. So that is how I do my paper roll. And then I'll go through and just do a couple more so you can see how cool it is. So this looks like this, right? You wouldn't expect it to look any different. Like you would expect when you see the page, it's going to look like that. But when you actually tear it, it's really cool how it just changes. So let's see, I need 9.5, right? So I'm tearing it. And you can use a different type of ruler edge for this. And like I said, it does not, for me at least, it doesn't have to be perfect. I like the mess. Because it just adds like just more texture. Now see, that's your page. Isn't that so cool? And then I'll put another page in here so you can see. You see how it breaks it up so much, and it just looks totally different from what you would expect from that full piano roll and from what you've pasted together. You're amazing. Oh, sorry, I haven't been reading chat. Bestie is here, Jamie. That's freaking smart. Thanks. It's not my ideal. I saw it on, I think it's called Izzy B. I think she did it, and I've used this before in one of, actually in a couple of my journals. One of my cousins, her mom paid for a journal, and it was so, this is really good. It was so big that I just didn't have paper to fit it. Like I couldn't possibly get any paper that I was going to be able to fit the journal because it was so long. Well, so then I made a paper roll, and what I did, instead of doing it sideways like I did here, I did it where all the papers were like this, and then I sewed it on like going downwards. And what I did was I printed off the book of Romans from the Bible, and I just tore that into like 4-inch strips. And so I would sew it every, I put a page, put a 4-inch strip, put a page, put a 4-inch strip. And then once you tore it out, it was just so cool. Like, so you'd have a paper like this, and then halfway through it'd be like Romans right there with big black stitching. And then like further down, it would be up here, and then it'd be down here. But I just thought it was cool. Like the whole book of Romans was in her journal. I just thought that was neat. So there's that. And then you see how it breaks it up. Now you still have journaling space, and you can get creative and write through all of this stuff. But I think it's really neat. This is, like I said before, this is really great to use when your paper is just not big enough. When you are doing a big, huge tome, and you have something where you need paper that's, let's say, 18 inches long, so you can fold it in half. Well, you can do that by creating a piano roll. Not a piano roll. Same thing, pretty much, but a paper roll. So, and this is from 2Ls. This is her William Morris washi tape that I just got. Isn't that perfect? I love it. Oh, can you even see it? Sorry. So, if you guys have your paper, you can do it along with me. I know Michelle 1L hates the C word, collage, but it's kind of like that. So you just are putting pieces together. You can think of it kind of like a masterboard. It's just a little bit different. But I'm going to grab some papers and just show you what I did. Let me move my fancy torch lighter over here. Okay. Thanks, Penny P. How long did it take to do that roll? Well, let's see. I stayed up really late last night, but I would say probably about 2.5 hours. Just because I didn't want to stop. I probably won't need all of the roll. But I just wanted to make it really long, because the last time I made one, I made it what I thought was long, but it only gave me a few pages because my journal was so big. So I wanted to make it really long, so I just kept at it. And then once I got sewing, I was just like, I'm doing it. The kids were sleeping. I was like, yep, it's time. So, oh, good. 1L. Taking 2 weeks. It will not. Lori, I saw all of your journal covers. Like, that would take me 5 million years to bust those out. So once you get started on this, I think that you'll just like it because of what it creates in the end, that you'll just be motivated to do it. So I don't think it'll take you 2 weeks. So like I said before, grab some books, whatever your theme is. If you want to go with a theme, if you don't want to go with a theme, you can just do all like neutral pages. Maybe vary them in different colors and maybe different textures also. So like the page differences and the feel. If you want to, you don't have to. If you just need a quick something and you just want it to be plain Jane, so you can art journal in it or something, you can just grab all white pieces and put them all together, sew them, and then you'll be able to cut down your pages to the size that you need them in your journal. And even if you don't need a different size paper in your journal, when you take it, so say I love this art book here. Look at that. That is a pin. Somebody pinned that. Look at that. Sorry, off track. I'm going to show you why I talk though. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? Yes, Lori, you are retired. Do we pre-glue it all? No. Well, let me take that back. So you pick out your pages, and then when you get them arranged in the way that you want, you just do a little bit of glue. It's just like a masterboard. So if you want to do a masterboard, you put your glue down, and then if you want to sew it, you do sew it. But it's just putting those papers down, getting that initial tack on it. So use the glue that you would want to put through your sewing machine if you do sew. But getting that initial get it situated so that you don't have to fiddle with it at the sewing machine, unless you want to like clip it every time, but that just seems like a pain. So I think it's just easiest to get all your papers, glue them all down all at once, and then once you're finished with your roll, go ahead and take it to the sewing machine and then sew everything. So what I was saying about even if you don't want different size pages, say your page was the size of a notebook paper. What is it, 8.5 by 11? So that's all you needed. You just fold it in, you can put in your signature, your pages will be perfectly fine. Well, when you take it and you put those pages together, pretend these are notebook pages, you put these pages together, right, and you sew down the middle. Well, what you can do to get that variation throughout your roll is you can like chop half this page off. So now when you're going through your roll, right? And instead of having all of these lines that are symmetrical, you chop off this part, right? Now from here to here is going to be your 8.5 width. So when you go through it, even though your pages are exactly the same and your sewing lines are exactly the same, if you just take that first initial portion off before you cut it, then when you get your pages and you fold them in half, your sewing is going to be in a different spot on every single page, which I think when you put them in the signature is going to just be way cool, instead of having, you know, repeat over and over and over and over, same symmetrical thing. If you have it varied, that's an easy way to do it. So you put, if you want to go the easy route and not do any of the stacking of the papers and stuff, but you just want to take the same size paper, you can do that. Glue it, glue it, glue it, glue it, glue it. That makes it super easy, especially for your first time. If that's how you want to do it, totally fine. Sew it, sew it, sew it, sew it, sew it. Now, when you get it, your piano roll done, chop off this very first part, and then everything will be different. Does that make sense? Or did I just confuse everybody? Okay, no, we're not. Jamie, we're not putting it on a base. So did you see the roll that I had done last night? I'll show you that real quick. It's just paper. So what I did though, so on this side, when you're gluing it down, you know, you're looking at the top side, right? Well, don't forget that this is going to be folded in half. So each side is going to be its own page, right? So take consideration of that. You don't have to switch it up, but what I did is that, so I see I have 2 blank pages. Now on this, these are blank. This is the same. Let me find you a spot where it's different. So right here, you see how this is my flower page. This looks blank, but this is just the back side of a paper. Now, if you look at on the other side, totally different, right? There's no flower, it's just the paper. This has words on it. So you can take double-sided paper, you can take single-sided paper, doesn't matter. I personally would vary them up, just so, I don't even know that it would matter, because you would just get it different looks of your page at the end, but I personally vary them. So I do pay attention to what's on each side, but if you want to, just starting out, just put them all in a row, glue them all the same way. Just know that when you have, say, if I did all of my cool decorations on this side of the paper roll and everything on the back was blank, just know that this inside of your page would all be blank. There would be nothing there. So if you use double-sided pages, you can get the same or different writing or text. See, that's different than that. So you get a variation. Cussing, of course. What? Oh. You know, Lori, I was doing this last night and I figured out that on my sewing machine, I've got this little cutting feature. So it cuts the thread, right? Without me having to take it back and, you know, pull it through the thread cutter. Well, when I do that, it just builds up inside of, sorry, my husband is huffing and puffing. He must not have a good class. But it builds up inside of my sewing machine. And so when I start to do, like, you'll see through some of these, like you see that tear there, which is totally fine. That's totally fine if it tears, because I can just cover that up with something decorative. But it would just get stuck and I'd have to like take everything out and like cut the string from underneath and then dig out all the, I was so mad. And this was at like 1:30 this morning and I was like, you're stupid. I won't say what I said, but does that answer your question, Jamie? Oh, he must have just had a break. He's back on it. So Yes, thank you. Okay, good. All right. Anybody else have questions? You understand like what I'm talking about with doing the variations and stacking or not stacking? Now, one thing I'm going to point out is, so on here, this is the Eco Dye paper. Now I glued it on the front. You don't have to glue it on the front and the back, because I'm just gluing this down to tack it to take to my sewing machine, right? So you would think when I do it and I sew it, it's going to be tacked down all the way. Well, because it's different on each side, so this is there's this part, right? And then underneath I might have layered it more inward. So you see how that's not tacked down at the back. Can you see that? So that's not tacked down at the back. Now, after I finish sewing it, let me caveat this also. When I take it to the sewing machine, just like I personally vary the stitching. So I'll turn it over to do a stitch on this side, or I'll turn it over to do a stitch on this side. You know, so I switch it up a little bit. You don't have to do that. But when you go through, I forget my main point of that, but when you go through and you roll it back up, because I like to keep it rolled to make sure that it's just contained, you can just put some glue underneath that edge, any edge that is overlapping. You see how this is here? So it'll be different through each one where your sewing is, especially if you're doing it on one side or the other. So like here, I'll just go through and take some glue, tack that down, and it'll be perfect. And then what I do to find those, and you don't even have to tack that down if you don't want to. You can leave it perfectly. You can leave it just like that. You can use that as a little tiny lip for a tuck spot if you want to. Put a little postcard in there or something. But, oh goodness, I just forgot what I was going to say. So I tack that down. You don't have to if you don't want to. But when I roll it, you'll automatically see those things pop out. So you can put some glue under there if you want to. Yeah, for sure you could use a stitch stamp. You would just have to make sure that your stuff is glued really good. So this is, you know, 2 pieces of paper. Just glue it really well. Because remember, you will be folding it and cutting it and using it in your journal. But you can also, oh, that's why I like the stitch. I like the stitch for the effect, and I like the stitch for the stability. So tell me if you guys hear that air conditioner just turn on. I just want to know for my own information. And if it's too loud, let me know that also. So I'll go through and glue all these down. And then when I'm done going through and gluing all these down, you don't even have to do it at this point in time. If you don't want to, you can do it once you've cut everything and put it into your journal. But I find it just really easy to just roll it, because it's all going to be real visible to you, your loose parts. And then to get the other side, you just start and roll it the other way. Not too loud. Okay, thank you. Good. So there's that. All right, so tell me if I was going to show you guys anything else, because I totally forget. I'm going to set that there, and then I'm going to start collecting some pages. You guys can collect your pages also, but you want to do a variation. If you're not going simple and you want to actually do something where you're going to have a lot of texture and a lot of decoration, like pre-decoration already on your page, then you want to choose some pages that are blank, and you want to choose some pages that have writing on them. And so also, one thing you want to know before you start, at least I find this the easiest way to do, is know how tall you need your pages. So if you're measuring it, if your book goes this way or your book goes this way, you want to make sure that you know how long your pages need to be at the spine. So whichever direction that is. Unless you're cutting it a different way. I'm not going to go into that because that can be really confusing. But so I know that my pages, the length of my pages need to be 7 1/4 inch because of the size of my book. You know, I want to have a 1/4 inch. Actually, I don't even have a 1/4 inch. I just have a little smidge with these pages. So 7 1/2. I think that's important to know at the very beginning, but since we are cutting this, you can do the cutting at the end. It's up to you. So I'm going to collect some pages. I'm not going to use that one because I love it too much. I know I'm not supposed to love my stuff. Dang it. Stop it. Okay. Blank page. Look at that. Isn't that crazy? That's somebody's pen. Somebody has pin drawn it. That's nuts. Okay, blank page, pretty page. If you want to do, remember, if you want to do blank pages, you can just do blank pages. If you want to do all pretty pages, oh, this is another option actually. You can do all pretty pages and utilize that as just your decoration inside of your journal. So whereas I'm using these, a lot of them for journaling spaces, you can use these as your decoration and just put blank pages around it. So all of your journaling pages would just be neutral copy paper or whatever you want. So that when you turn that, then you've already got your decorated page. And you don't even have to add decorations to it once it's been sewn and collaged together, because of the simple fact that it's really decorated with the sewing or this stitch stamp. So I like math book. I like architecture books. I like music books. So I'll grab a couple of these. It is Lori. I love it. All right, so you can grab some line paper, some ledger paper, graph paper, whatever. And then, let's see, I'm going to grab some scrap paper too. And I'm not going to do a whole piano roll. I'm just going to show y'all the gist. And grab a book page. And you can do this glossy or matte, doesn't matter. Trying to get, sorry if that's making y'all nauseous. Apologize. That's pretty. I'm gonna use that one. Sorry, I sing when I'm doing this. I'll try not to. Oh, Shiza. Sorry. Okay. So for this one, I'll do just the same size as the journal that I'm doing right now, just because maybe I'll add these in. If not, then I can always add them into a different journal, and I can do, even if they're smaller, because these ones aren't very big. Actually, 7.5 is kind of big, isn't it? No, for the length it's not big. Okay. So when I get another journal, say I have a journal that's, let's say, this size. See, this is my journal, and I have all these big, huge papers. Well, I can also put this in my journal, and this will be another decorative page. So you can always use it for the journal that you're utilizing, especially if they're neutrals or botanicals or something that you do, a theme that you stick to a lot. You can always never make enough. Never make too much anyways. This is not going well for me. Give me a second. Okay. Okay, I'll do this one. This is already collage. It's pretty cool. Okay. So now when I do it, depending on the size of your journal, you're going to want to choose which direction you're doing it on your page, which direction you want your page to go. So because this is 11 and this is 8.5, it's totally appropriate for me to do it landscape, because if I did it this way, when I'm doing my piano roll and I'm sewing everything, you know, left or right, I'm cutting off a lot of this paper that I could be utilizing in the paper roll. So if I do it this way, then I only have to cut off, what is it, 1 1/4 inches or something. So then I've got this makes my piano roll a lot longer. So choose your papers, and I would put them in the direction that you're going to be utilizing them, just to not confuse yourself. Now this one, I'm not going to turn it this way, right? I'm going to use it this way just because, oh, sorry. Just because I like the lines this way. Now, if you don't care, which usually I don't care, usually I would take this and put it in a journal just like this, totally fine, because you can always turn your journal and write on it like that. So it's up to you, but I'm going to keep this in that direction. I'm going to keep those in that direction. And now when you're cutting this, so you could do it where, move this out of the way. So say this is my piano roll, right? I want to either sew it this way, and when I'm cutting it, so I can either leave this whole page, right? I can sew this whole page on, leave the whole page, sew another page over here, right? Or I could just take a strip of it. So I could take a strip of this, cut it like that, and then glue the other page on. You understand? So you can vary the pages in that way also. Now it makes it a lot easier if you already have a page with the length for the piano roll to leave the length, because you'll just have to keep adding on if you don't. Now something like this, if I only like part of the page, say I only like that page, I could just, before we even start, cut that off. I'll do that just to show you guys. So I only want this section of my page, so I'm just gonna, now I could use that for another section, or I could put it in whatever, a bin somewhere. And then when I put it together, I could put this at the bottom, or I could put this at the top, or I could even put this in the middle and then put, say that. I wouldn't do that actually, because that doesn't look cute, but like that. So when you do your paper roll, now you've got your stitching or your stitching stamp, and you've got all that decorated, right? And then when you have your page, it's going to be like, it'll probably look a lot like this. So this will be your page. You'll have a strip here, strip here, strip here, and you won't even realize what it's going to look like until you cut it. So don't worry too much about getting it perfect or where you're going to put everything. I would just worry about what orientation you want it. And if you want to chop things down before you start, do it. If you're not really sure where you're going to put it at, who cares? Do it anyways. Chop it. Like this. So say I want this, but I don't want, I want that to be a section. I want this to be a section, and I want this to be a section. So now I've got 3 different pieces for my piano. Look how crappy that ripped. Dagnabbit. That's okay. Okay, and then so scrapbook paper is a good one to use because it's so big. I'm going to go ahead and cut this one down to the size that I need. So it's going to be 7 1/4 for my journal. You do whatever size your journal is going to be. If you want to keep it normal tea stain paper size, have at it. If you're going to be, oops, that's okay. That's a place where I put tape. This could be a lot easier if I did my ruler the proper way, but it's totally fine. So now there's this part, which is going to be awesome in itself. So say I want to take this and I'm just gonna rip it. Boop. Now I've got 2 pieces to put my piano roll. You guys see how it's a lot like master board. Yeah, Jamie, you can do whatever size scraps you want. I would do bigger size, but if you're going to be using them more for just decorative pages instead of journaling pages, you know, if you want them to be journaling pages, I would use more white and bigger. And by white, I mean like neutral, like creamies, vintagey colors, or whatever theme you're going with. But blank space is basically where you can see what you're writing on. But if you're doing it as a decorative page, I mean, you can make them as little as you want. It's going to be a challenge getting them all glued down. And if you were going to make them like really small, I would have a template. Say this was one size, this was another size. You know, I would have something to measure it behind where I could keep it together, if that makes sense. Okay, and then let's see, we can do this to cut it. Okay, that's your new name, Amazing. Yeah, right. Stop it. You're crazy. Okay, so let me move this book out of the way. Grab some tea. Sorry, let me put this stuff in here so I don't get it all mixed up. Is it weird that I have dead bugs on my desk that I picked up and put there on purpose? Look how cute that is. It's a little moth. He's perfect. I'm going to put him in resin or something. Is that weird? Does anybody else love bugs? Okay. So I'm going to take a piece of paper to start off with. I'm going to move these out of the way. Okay. So here's my paper. Now, either you could do what we said before, and you could wait to cut these down to your paper size, especially if you don't know what your paper size is going to be. You can just start off using your normal size that you use. And if you know that you're going to be making a big one, a big journal, you could start it off like this, and then cut it down afterwards once you figure out what you're doing. So if you don't have any project in mind with this, just start with your regular paper, or whatever scale you'd like. Now, oh yeah, this is the point. So this is the part that might take a little while, is measuring. You don't have to measure, and I don't usually. I'll just take this, and just like I ripped that paper earlier, I'll just take it and rip it like this, get it started, and then I'll turn this and make it line it up here so that I know that it's a straight line, and then this ripper off. So now I have my length. This is how big I need my pages, and so everything else will follow that. Now I can either I could either do it like this, where I start down, or I can do it like this, where I start up. It doesn't matter where you put it at. You just want to keep them the similar size to what you're starting with. So for time purposes, I'm just going to put that there. Make sure it's straight, chop it off. Okay. So it's up to you whether you want to do it as you go, or you just want to line it up, whatever you feel like. Go hide in the car after watching it. You're silly. Okay, now this works either way. You glue on this paper or glue on this paper, it doesn't matter, but the purpose of the gluing, unless you're not stitching, is just to get it to the machine intact. Sorry, I just moved my camera. Let me get these fixed. I probably shouldn't put my Fabri-Tac next to my fire. Totally fine. It'll be fine. Okay. So we're just going to put that there. And when you do this, you can overlap it as much as you want. I would put it just, if you're not going to be using a sewing machine, I would do a little bit more so that it's more stable. And you can have some space to do your stamping. And when you do your stamping, and this goes for if you're going to be sewing it or not, if you do your stamping, you can stamp it on this side of the page, or you can stamp it on this side of the page, or you can overlap it, whatever decorative things you want to do. So that's hanging there like that. I don't know, I think I kind of like that, so I'm going to leave it. All right, now next page, let's see. So I have a blank page, I have a word page, and I'm going to do another blank page. Now this page is very, very old. This is from that art journal. So what I could do is I could gesso over top of it, or I could pick a different page. But I like this, and I don't think it's too fragile. I can bend the page, and if there's any kind of issues with the paper, once I get it sewn, then I can take whatever corrective measures I need to with tape or glue, or I could patchwork it. This is another option. So you saw before, when I did this one, I cut it before I glued it. Now with this one, I'm going to cut it after I glue it. So you can do either way. And I'm just going to line everything up, rip it off, put it in my stack. So you can see how quickly this starts to go, especially if you have wider pages. It goes pretty quick with the gluing. Now let's try, hi Team T. I'm making a paper roll. Let me show you real quick so you're caught up. So this is a paper roll. I'm sure that you know what a paper roll is. Oh, sorry. Grab the wrong thing. So this is a paper roll. It's just literally paper that's rolled. It's pieced together and then it's sewn. And what I do with it is I cut it down to size for my journals that I'm making, and then I use them as pages in my signatures. And I'll show you what that looks like. So this is a piece off the piano roll, which I've cut down to the size that I need. And then when I put it in my signature, you've got some, and this is not my signature, it's just papers that I have here. So you've got that, and then you've got that page, and then la-di-da-di-da, and then you've got that page, and then you've got that page. So you've got decorated pages. They've got the stitching and whatnot, and we've talked about how you don't have to stitch it as long as you just make sure it's secure. So right now we've grabbed a bunch of different papers, some plain papers, some music papers, scrapbook papers, and right now we're just gluing. So see this here. Now this is what I was talking about earlier, Jamie, with the front pages and back pages. So I like this here, but I could also put that here. And when I turn it over, because this is also going to be its own page, you can check and see how it looks, you know. So if this was a double-sided page, say like, grab this. So if this was a page like this, and I wanted to put this here, well, is it going to look good on the back too? Because the back has a different page, right? The back has that blue. So you can change it up as you like. So do I want all that blue there? I don't know. I kind of like that. And then the blue can go on the front. So that's what I mean, just by varying it up. And if you want to just look at the front page and do it, and then just be surprised by what the back page looks like, I think it will end up totally fine. And Tina, what I'm doing now is just, oh yeah, decide the height your papers need to be first, then start this. You can do that, or you don't have to do that. It's totally up to you. So I've done it where I just sewed things together. Like with that really big journal I was talking about earlier, I just took all my 8 by 10, 8 by 11 and a half, no, 8.5 by 11, excuse me. Took all my papers, did my forged strips of the Romans, and just glued that all together. So everything was the same exact size, and it didn't match up with my journal size at all. But after I got my paper roll, then I was able to go through and take it and cut it. So the way that I did it was a different orientation than this, because I needed it longer, the pages longer. So the way that I sewed everything together was more in this orientation. So it's kind of confusing to tell you that without being able to show you. But you can do it either way. It's a lot easier for me personally to go ahead and cut it beforehand, just so that I know, like my size, which size I need, and I'm able just to do it as I go. That makes it a lot easier for me. So see, this is why it's called a piano roll. No. This is why I like to roll it first, because it gets unrolled. Now let me roll it up as I'm going, and then I'll show you. I know that you guys already know this. I'm just showing you in case somebody else that's watching doesn't know. So I'm going to use just a little clippy to do this. Okay, so I'm going to clip it on one end, and then now it's together. So I'm just working with this much space at a time. It makes it more manageable. You can also, what I found last night, because I keep my bobby pins hooked on a magnet on my lamp, so that I don't lose them, because that's like my main purchase is bobby pins every 2 weeks because they're all gone. So I decided to get smart, I put a magnet on my metal lamp and then magnetize all my bobby pins here. So another thing that's good, because this actually, stretches, just put a bobby pin on it. So that's my 2 cents. Now, so here, because I have, the red up here, the green down here, which one do I want? I think I'll have green, and I think I'll have just with the numbers showing. And instead of putting this one in front like I did all the rest of them, I'm going to put it in the back of both of these pages. Okay, so with this one, this is an example of when you don't need to, when I find it easiest not to cut beforehand. I'm going to get all this goop off here. Is when you're placing these pages together like this, when you've got a short one and a next to a long one. Sorry, let me make my little bugs. Oh, hi, Angie. Thank you for coming. It's great to have everybody here today. Okay, when do I stop? And so it's taller than me. Well, you're not that tall, so you should probably keep going. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. So whenever you're ready, if you think it's tall, if you think it's long enough and tall enough, go for it. Go to the machine. Okay, so this is what I was talking about when I don't cut beforehand. So, and that's just because when it's bigger, it's easier to manage as far as like getting it straight and putting it down proper. So let's do this. Actually, let me cut this part off first. Sorry. Sorry for all my weird noises. I told Michelle to not let me say weird things. So I'm going to cut that off. I'm going to add it to my pile because I can add it later to another part of my roll. And then chop this baby off. Har, har, har. I love you. Kidding. I'm kidding. Okay, let's see. So now for me, this is going to be a journaling thing, right? It's going to be decorative, but it's mostly for the journaling pages that I'm going to be putting in. I will be putting blank pages in also, but I like this. So I like this white space. And by white space, I mean empty. It's empty, right? So now I can add in some, what's it called? Some text pages. Now, oh man, it's so hard. Look at that. Do I want to keep that in? I still can't believe this is a pen drawing. Like, who does this? Okay, I'm gonna take it out because even though it's a microscope, is it a microscope? I don't know. It's in a foreign language. It looks like a microscope, but it also kind of looks like a laser, something that shows the light fields or something. So doesn't really have anything to do with my botanical theme, although it doesn't really matter. If you want to put that in, put it in. Okay, so now after every significant piece of paper that you put in here with that adds length to it, I would just roll it up, because it's going to get out of hand real soon. And I don't need to put this here, but I'm going to put the glue here on that back piece. Did you guys see it falling apart? It wasn't falling apart, but the longer piece wasn't adhered. I just want to do that so that it just keeps it in place and it doesn't like get ripped throughout all the rolling process. Okay, so keep it rolled. Here we go. And when you keep it rolled, make sure you roll. What's it called? Clip it with all the layers attached, because if you don't, then the middle is going to get all springy and silly, and just keep it under control. You know what I mean. Okay, so now I'm going to roll this a little bit more. Is my camera blurry? I hope not. It's getting kind of, hold on just a second. I'm going to be right back. Okay. Okay. It's getting kind of gloomy out. Oh, good. Thanks. Okay, what's next? Let's see. I have, let's do more blank. Okay, now this one's big. And actually, you know what? This is another example of what you can do. So instead of keeping this big long piece right here, if I don't want that that much length of that paper there, just chop it off. And use it further down in your roll. I think I keep calling it a piano roll. It's not a piano roll. Okay, I'm going to take this and do it on the underside. Sorry. I don't like this. This glue gets all over my hands, and I just gotta get it off. I gotta roll it off like immediately. So irritating. Okay, grab the wrong bottle. So you can also do this with a glue stick instead of Fabri-Tac. You can do it with what's it called? Art glitter glue, whatever you want. The goal is to keep it tacked. While you're doing this, if you're not going to be sewing, if you think it's easiest to like go through and do this, glue it all down, get it all proper, and then while you're still in this spot to turn it over and make sure the other side is glued down. If you're not going to be sewing, then you can do that, and you can do that even if you are going to be sewing. But usually, if you are sewing, those little pieces, like the piece that I've had to glue down a little bit earlier, usually they'll already be down once you're done sewing, so you don't really have a lot to do with that afterwards. Sorry for the noises. It's just how it is, guys. That's life. Every time I do something, I'm like, like I'm like, I don't know, those sheep, something. Okay. So, everybody get it? Like, it's totally easy, right? It's fun. It's like masterboarding, but it's also like jelly plating. Like, you don't have to think a whole lot about it. Just do it. Make sure it's the right size. Make sure it's a little different, and do it. Good. Okay. So whenever you guys think that you have long enough, now remember, it's kind of deceptive because your roll looks really long, but when you cut it, you have to remember that whatever size pages you're using, like say you're using, your journal is 9x6. So if your journal is 9x6, you're going to have to cut off 12 inches right off the bat. So every 12 inches. Now, if you only do 36 inches of roll, you're only getting 3 signature pages, if that makes sense. So it's a little deceptive in that way. So when you think you got a lot, you may not have a lot, depending on the size journal that you're making. I'm going to do this. So I'm going to cut this part off because it's too cray. I don't even know if you guys, if I'm on camera. Okay. So for this one, I'm going to do a little different. So we've been using 1 and 1 or 1 and 2, but I'm going to do 1 and 3. So I'm going to move this one over a little bit. I hate covering up this cool pattern here, but move this one over. And then I'm also going to glue it down here. You can do this one of two ways. Either glue on the back of this, which probably would have been smarter, or do it like I just did. Stop talking to me. Sorry. Nobody's actually talking to me. It's the news, which I just don't care about. So there's that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of, I don't think I grabbed it. That's not big enough. Let me grab a piece of my transparency paper. I thought I grabbed some. There she be. Okay. Sorry for the crinkle. Okay. Look at this paper I got from 1L. It's so grungy. Okay. back to the transparency paper. Okay. So we did, like I said, 1 and 1, and then 1 and 2. Now we're going to do 1 and 3. So I'm going to put this behind here. Now remember, if you're doing transparency paper, the glue does show up, but if you're sewing or stamping over top, you can mitigate that a little bit. Okay, probably could have just done this here. This is another time where it's not really necessary to cut beforehand. It's actually easier to not. Sorry if I keep hitting my camera. Okay, so put that there, put that there. There we go. Now your transparency paper is in. My transparency paper is in. And I'm going to drop it off. Now I'm going to turn it over and get the rest of the back. If I wanted to, ooh, you know, it would be cool. I'm going to do it. Okay. So that transparency paper is there. And while I'm here, I'm going to put a flower under there. Let me see. Maybe I'll put 2 flowers under. I was thinking earlier, actually no, last night, I was thinking about some of the papers that I was putting on, and if I was to overlap them, would I be able to like make a pocket? And I guess if I would measure out proper, I probably would, but because I don't know where my cuts are going to end up, I just figured I probably would end up cutting the what's it called? The pocket. I would like cut it in half probably. So oh, I guess I should probably put some glue on the back of here. Sorry, I just went complicated on this now. Okay. Oh, did I say? Oh, yeah. So when I showed you guys the piano roll at the beginning, I had done something that I hadn't done the last time I made it, or actually any time I've made it, and I put fabric in. So you can do that too. You can say that you see the blank page right next to me, this one here, or any of these, especially like that here. It talks about how to get rid of bugs in the garden. And so, I don't know, if I don't want that in there, then I could always just cover it up with fabric. And you never know, when you put the fabric in, you may end up having it at the same spot. You may end up having to cut it off when it comes time to trim down into your actual pages. Okay, so look at that. That's cool. Now that'd be neat if when it's time to cut it, if it ended up right halfway through that. Never know. I think that would be cool though. So I'm going to trim that part off. Okay. All right. Well, let's see. I'm going to do some stamping on here so we can see what it would look like with Like Lori B, she asked about if there was just stamping and no sewing. You could do that, or you could sew it. So I'm going to see how it looks with just the stamping, because I've never done it. And so I could even stamp it and then sew it also. And then the stamp would just be peeking out of the bottom. But I'm going to do, since we've done this much and you guys are doing yours also, I'm just going to go forth and do that. And then we can go into my piano roll and that I've made last night. Because I don't want to do the sewing on camera because I think it'll be really loud. But then we'll go through my piano roll and just cut it up. That sound good? And then maybe do something else, maybe not. I don't know. Let me get a few stamps. Be right back. You could draw the faux sewing. Yes, you could. That would be cool. You could do little doodles. Can you guys hear me? I'm over by my drawers, so I don't know if you can hear me. Pardon the noise if you can, if it's too loud. I'm gonna move some stuff around because I wasn't planning on stamping, but sounds like fun. Okay. Hear you just fine. Oh, good. Awesome. Paper roll, Amanda says, say it 5 times. Oh, do I keep saying piano roll? Paper roll, paper roll, paper roll, paper roll, paper roll. Okay. Here are a few stamps. Let me not burn the plastic. Let's see. Oh, let me get this stitching stamp real quick. Here we come. Sorry. There. Ugh, found it. Okay. So these are some. Sorry if my head's in the way. Okay. What's this one? Field notes. Field notes would be awesome for this, especially the one that I'm doing, just to stamp random. And you could do that too while you're doing your paper roll. You could, oh no, Tina, you're still sitting there. Oy. Oh, that stinks. These are, this is what she's talking about. The stamps that I have here are from a little company. They ship out of China, but she has awesome products. It's our, I don't know how to say it, Atier, but they've got all these cool stamps that are already like, they do the work for you, basically. So I'm going to take some of those and some of the stitching. Ooh, man, we could do embossing too. It would be so much fun. Okay. Stamps. I'm going to gather my ink. Do that one too. You can do either distress ink or if there's any pages that you'll need to like gesso over, like any fragile pages, like I mentioned earlier, then and you're going to be stamping before you take care of that, then you can do archival ink so that doesn't smear anywhere. Sorry, I'm going through my drawer next to me trying to find what I'm looking for. Okay. I think that's good. I think that'll be good. Oh, bye, Barbara. Thanks for coming by. It was so good to see you here. Okay. Start with the stamping. Ooh, you know what? I don't know if you guys have this or not, but I have this embossing powder. It's called Black Puff. I wonder how cool that would look. I wonder if it's too thick though for these stamps. Anywho, I'm going to do one of these stamps just to see what it would look like. I haven't used all these, so they're still in the doodad. Okay. I don't know where my block is, so. Let me find my block real quick. It should be right here in this basket. Of course, it's not in the basket. Why would it be? Okay, I'm just gonna find something else to use. Okay. Okay, I'm just gonna use this. How about that? How about them apples? It's upside down. We'll go with black. If you have a drink glass next to you, use black or black. Oh yeah, that's smart. I know, I was gonna use ink pad, but then I didn't want to undo it because like I didn't want to leave it undone. And I wanted to see where I was putting it because I am not great at this. So I like the clear block, but whatever works. Okay, this isn't very sturdy, so. There we go. That's cute. And if you wanted to keep it down really good, you could just do some matte medium over top of it. And like, see, this is a black picture, but it's kind of glossy, a little, just a teeny tiny bit. You could matte medium over that also. Let's see. Let's try. Did you guys know that your inks are actually, you're able to use them as the color in your embossing? So instead of buying colored embossing powder, you can just use your inks and emboss over top of it. Oh, I hate that line. Darnsies. Okay. So if I wanted to, take that clear embossing powder, do that, and put this back in and emboss it. It's not going to work out like that. Probably shouldn't have used this, considering things cling to it. Sticky things. Hi, Pearl. Welcome. You're playing around. Oh, just put... Okay, pay attention, Amanda. Okay. Hopefully this isn't too loud. Tell me if it's too loud. And now it's embossed. Okay, good. Thank you, Jamie. Okay. So, anything else you guys want to see on here? Got some stamping, some embossing, some, what are they called? Flowers under the transparency paper. I guess if you wanted to, since everything's glued together, you could technically go ahead and cut them apart and then just sew each page, but I don't know. It probably wouldn't be as hard with maintaining this roll because it's kind of challenging. But as long as you keep it clipped and clip it every time you roll it or unroll it, and it should be pretty easy to do. When you're putting it under the sewing machine, say this is a sewing machine, you're going to have, how I do it, whatever I'm sewing is under there, right? And then whatever's on each side is rolled and clipped. So it makes it a lot easier. You can keep it a tight roll or a loose roll, depending on how much space you have underneath your sewing machine to get everything through. But if you just don't have enough space, just cut it down to size that you want and sew it at the machine, each individual page. It's not going to be any more sewing than it would be. The only thing I would be careful of is that your stuff is actually glued down proper. So when oh, thanks, Jamie. Those are the Tim Holtz. Where are they? Ooh. There's a bunch of different ones. There are these thin lips. And then I've got some leaves in the other ones. I love them. They're so pretty. So that's that paper roll, and I'll sew that later. And then for now, I'll just cut my paper roll that I made yesterday down to size. If you guys want to hang out or tell me something else to do, I don't know. What you want to do, Cletus? Okay. So remember, I needed 9.5 purl. This is my piano roll that I made yet. Piano roll, heck, nabbit. Sorry. Pardon my language. It is my paper roll. Thank you. That I made yesterday. And if you haven't seen a paper roll, I just took all that, just what I was doing earlier, took all that paper and then glued it together, took it to the sewing machine, and then sewed it all on. This is fabric in the middle, and then that's what the back looks like. So I just take it and fold it in half. That fabric there is kind of thick, so I might need to push it down. There we go. And when we fold it, if we figure out that stuff is the paper is too fragile, or you accidentally rip it or whatever, you can put some tape, back washi tape, or you can put some fabric back there to keep it all together. So let me see. I think I say sew a lot. Oh, thank you. Oh, okay. Well, we were talking about earlier, and Lori was asking about what if we didn't want to sew it or couldn't sew it? Could you stamp it? Yeah, you could definitely do that. You just would have to make sure that you glue everything down. So tack everything down proper. Check it, double check it, triple check it, just to make sure that when you're tearing it and you're putting it into your journal, that it's just in there nice. And then let's see. Oh, poopy doops. That's totally fine. Okay. See, that's totally fine for me. That I could distress that, or I could leave it as it is. And it just adds to the grunginess of it. See, this little thing fell off, but it's totally fine. So that's my page, and they all look totally different. Like that transparency paper, I had it was full. Now it's folded in half. Only half of it showing there, but guess what? The other half is showing there. And what I could do is I could take, like I did with the other transparency paper, just take this die cut and stick it in the middle, glue it down on one of these transparency portions, and you can see it through all of them. See it in the front and the back. And that's just a little extra decorative thing there. Hi, Dana. Welcome. We're making paper rolls, Jamie. Gosh, get it together. What's wrong with you? Okay, so there's this. You see how, when you put this in your journal as just a page, you're fully expecting to see the whole page at the same time. But when you do it like this, you're not going to see it at the same time. And then, let's see. Not going to see it at the same time, but you get that page not once, but twice, which I think is super cool. So you get half some of the page there and some of the page elsewhere. Now, look at this. That graph paper is all by itself. It's totally fine also, because I like to add graph paper in. Oh, okay, I'm gonna have to cut that part there. So let me see. Let me get a pen. I'm gonna cut that. Ah, she's totally fine. Not a big deal. Torn, perfect. Okay, what do I do with this scissors? There they be. Okay, I'm just going to cut the fabric and tear the paper. Okay. Now that right there has created an opportunity for me to add some washi tape or vintage tape. It's all good. No need to fret. And look. I'm glad this happened though, because when I sewed this on, it looked crooked to me. Like there's an appointment and a memoranda, and when you look at it, when it's a full piece, it's kind of crooked. So now it's not a full piece, and that's awesome. Is anyone else sewing their thing right now? Or are you making one with me? My desk is so small. Sorry. Sorry for saying sorry all the time. My desk is tiny. I have like no space. Once I get everything out, I'm like, ugh. Oh yeah, that makes sense, Jamie. I like to do it while I'm watching, because I know that if I don't do it while I'm watching, I'm likely not to do it. And it's less for me to remember. So as I'm doing it, I can get it done and not have to rethink about it later. Now see that's blank, but it's got this little strip here. It's got that in the middle. Now I could decorate this edge if I wanted to, or I could just leave it for journaling. And if you want to journal in it, you could turn your journal this way and write this way on this part. You can turn it and write this way on this part. You can write in here. You can write like new beginnings, you know, for the beginning of the year or something, like a little title on that. You can use that as a line to guide your journaling. I think it's just really cool. And see how that looks like that. And you're like, I don't know, like that. Like for me, I'm like, that's too much. But look, when it breaks up, isn't that perfect? And then look at that. It's awesome. I think it's so cool. It's like jelly pudding. You just never know what to expect. Hey, to L's. Welcome, my friend. We're making a paper roll. Oh my goodness, I'm about to burn my house down. Let me blow out the candle. That's a hazard. I'm just not dealing with it. Okay. How far are you on yours, Michelle? Are you sewing? 1L? It's weird. It's weird saying your name like instead of typing 1L. Oop, nope, that's wrong. Let's try it from this side. Okay. See that? Isn't that cool? Look, that just like underlined his name. But I was sewing on the opposite side. Isn't that cool? So neat. And now, since instead of having this big piece of what's it called, eco dye paper, it gets separated. So it's not just in one part of your journal; it's in multiple parts, which I think is so cool. Look at that. So it's not just the eco dye paper folder in half. Now I've got 3 different things here, and then let me see. Let me get a blank piece of paper. Show it easier. Chair squeaky. Okay. So say this is my paper. 7 1/4 inches is what it's supposed to be. Chair. Okay. So you got that page, and then you got your blank page. Look how it just breaks it up. And then the rest of your pages would be there, and then there's a full eco page and another full eco page. And then look. So out of that one eco page, I got 1, 2, 3, 4 eco pages, 5, 6 eco pages out of one page. So you can do that with the papers that you really love also, that you don't, you're like, ooh, there's only 1 left, I want to keep it or whatnot. Or you're not sure where to put it because there's only 1 and you want it kind of be dispersed throughout. Just remember that once you cut it, and if you even want to plan it the way that it will fall out, you can do that just by making the first cut exactly where you want it. This is gonna rip, I know it. Hold on. And not in the way that I want it to. There we go. Oops. Totally fine. Scrunchie. That's what that is. That's what I call that. And then even when you make mistakes like that, look at that. It just like sticks right out of there. It just adds more character, I think, personally. And then I can stamp along that. That was the piece of paper. Only just a teeny tiny sliver got added to it, but you can totally decorate that. Look, there's my more eco dye paper out of one, and then you got that blank, and then you got that. And then look, there's one left. See, how big is this? 9. That's totally fine. I need 9.5, but 9 will work because I don't need all my pages to be the same. That's just the maximum that I want them. So if it's smaller, yay. I got more texture, more interest. So let me make sure I got all of my piano papers, and then we'll count them just to see, because you guys saw how big the piano roll was. And so you can kind of get an idea of what you're going to get. Okay, that's it. Okay. Oh, there's another one. And don't fret if you get your piano roll and you're like, oh, I made this super long piano roll. Heck on it. Paper roll. Holy smokes. Sorry, I'll get it together eventually, I promise. Ugh. I know, Michelle. It's a paper roll. Okay. So you get your paper roll, and it's like, you're like, oh my gosh, I've been working on this forever. It's so long. I must have 1,000 pages here. And it turns out you actually have 5. It's okay. Because especially when you do it like this with the lots of decorations in it, just add a bunch of blank pages between it. Add a bunch of different colors of different pages. Add your graph paper, all of those things. And these can just be utilized as like another element. So say instead of, where I would typically place a tag, well, I'm going to put this because it's beautiful and it looks decorative and I made it and it's cool. So I'm putting it there. So don't get too upset. Like the last one I made, I was like, oh, this is so long. And I literally got 5 pages out of it. And I was like, okay, that was not cool, but it turned out awesome. So out of that piano roll that I showed you at the beginning, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pages. So that's pretty good. I'm only going to be doing 3 signatures, so I got at least 2 per signature that I can put. Oh, maybe I miscounted. Did I miscount? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. No, okay. At least 3 in each signature, or less if I want to hoard them for my next journal. And then I can put 4 in the middle. How about that? 3, 4, 3. Now I've got decorations, not only pages for signature, but decorations for my signature. And it was super simple, just putting some flipping paper down. Sorry about my language. That was meant to be in my head only. Did I say piano roll again? Oh my gosh. Stop it. Yes, it's much easier to sew when it's rolled. Just because, especially if you have things around your sewing machine, it's not just like standalone on its own table. You got like drawers beside you or things behind you or whatnot. You don't have space to let this piano roll hang out. I mean, if you think of it, I have 10 pages. They're 9.5 inches a piece. So that's what is that? Somebody calculate for me. 95 inches? Or is that too? Yeah, whatever. It's that long. It's very long. So it's much easier to control when it's rolled, especially when you get started, because when you start, it's going to be rolled on one side, right? It's going to be rolled on this side. You're going to sew right there. And then as you build this up, all this stuff starts rolling in on you, and you're like, wow. So you're probably not like that, because I'm pretty sure I'm the only one that makes that kind of noise. But so if you roll both sides while you're sewing it, it's so much easier. So I'll show you. I don't think we went through this one. This is the one that we made today, and it was just really short. It didn't take that long at all, did it? I don't think so. But we did that. So that's one side, and then this is the other side. Oh, is it not focusing? What in the world? Is that blurry for you guys? Or is it just my internet? I guess if it's my internet, it's probably blurry for you guys too. There we go. So this is the other side, and you literally, like Michelle said, you never know what you're going to get. It's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. But it's going to be cool. I know that much. And it's going to add some awesome elements to your journal. It's going to add lots of textures, lots of colors, depending on, you know, what you use, at least variations of colors. If you're just using different color neutrals. And then don't fret over like errors. Just cover them up. Like you can, if you make a boo-boo on your sewing, it's fine. Just make a note to yourself that either A, I'm going to love that as it is, and I'm going to put it in there because it's something that happened through the process, and I'm just basically putting the process out there for others to enjoy. Or you can say, okay, remember where that is because I want to cover that up with something. And it can be, is that my phone? Is that your phone, babe?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. Sorry. So, or say I want to cover it up. You can cover it up with, put a pocket there, put some ephemera there, make a little collage in the corner, or wherever it's at. Even if it's in the middle of the page, like look at that. That's in the middle of the page almost. I can put elements in the middle of my page if I want to, because I can, and because that's how I create. And if I want to do it, I'm going to do it because I'm the artist, and hopefully the consumer likes it. But this is not hindering anyone. Something in the middle. So if I make a big old rip in the middle of my page, and I want to cover it up, let's see. Let me do this. Just trying to get an example. So I make a big old rip in my page, and it's like up here. Well, I have these offcuts, and guess what? I can just take that, cut it out, and paste that right on the page, and it's over. Like, it's done. It's fixed. It's stable. It's beautiful still, and it just is what it is. It's a creation that you've made, and it's awesome because you're awesome. Yes, I can, Laura B. That's right, Jamie. Piano rolls are paper too. Paper rolls, you know what? If you want to make a paper roll and you put piano paper in it, then guess what? Maybe you can call it a piano roll. I don't know. Sounds cool to me. That would be another thing to add into there. Piano paper. Piano roll paper. Or like, I just put a sliver of embossed paper in mine, But you can also do like this, die cut paper. So that could just be a little element and glue it down. Like for this one, it might be too small to get a stitch through there, but you don't have to stitch it. Just like cut it higher and then stitch it out the top. So it'll be just fine. It'll be cool. Just add stuff. When you get ideals and you're like, wow, I wonder how that's gonna look. I wonder if I could do that. Just do it. Just try it. Why not? There's no point to, I mean, that's how you're gonna be unique, really. If you have an idea and you're like, oh, I wonder if that would work, and you never try it, well, guess what? Somebody else down the line's gonna try it and you missed it. Like, but if you try it, nobody else has ever tried it, it's yours. Like, it's unique. And then people see it and they're like, whoa, that's so cool. I want to do it, you know? And if they don't, then I won't say what I'm going to say. But, yeah. You can add big embossed paper. You can add half embossed paper like this. You could put that. Put washi tape down the middle. Put fabric in there. Put lace in there. You could even, while you have your paper roll, if you just wanted to go ahead and decorate it in any way that you wanted to, like say there was a blank spot and you're like, oh, that's cool. Like we did with the stamps, kind of take a blank spot and you say, all right, I want to put a little snippet here, see what that looks. You'd never know where that's going to fall out in your page. Like, I just think that's the cool part about it. You just don't know. Box of chocolates. Hi, Angie. Welcome. You know what, Lori B, I do too. I do. So I try to decorate all of my stuff outside of putting it together. So what I'll start with is just a page. So, or like this piano roll, start with that. Okay, that's one element. Now, say I have a cool tag that I like. Well, it's neutral, it's whatever. I like this color, I like this theme, whatever. I'm just gonna make this tag. I don't care what it's for. I'm gonna make the tag. And that's what, with my last journal, that's what I did. Like Tracy came out with, Tracy Fox, the only Tracy, come on now. I'm kidding. But not really. She came out with one of her tag kits, and it was just awesome. Like, and then she, you know, she shows you how to do them, and other people show you how to use them and whatnot. But you just take that, what she's done, and you get to create on top of it. You know, you get to utilize her art to make your art, and it's just like a process that's like never ending. Like somebody's going to take I took somebody's piano roll and daggone it, paper roll, and I added my own thing to it, and now you guys have seen me do it, and now you're going to go add your own thing. It's just like this whole cycle. It's just so cool. I love it. No mic drop. Hold on, let me catch up on chat. Oh, bye, Angie. Sorry, I didn't see you leave. Lola. My dog wants up on my desk. Sorry. Well, ooh, the box of shame. Oh man, I want that box so much. Seems the piano. Okay, I'm going with it, Jamie. Freaking piano roll. That's what it's called. That's what I'm going with. So, sorry, my dogs are being bums. Lola, she's my little dog, and she is so needy. Like, she just wants me all the time. I can't do anything or go anywhere without the dog. And she's just on me. And when I come in, she's so stinking cute though. When I come in the house, she's just like wiggling and crying and just like so excited to see me. And I'm like, thank you for loving me. But sometimes she's annoying. Sorry, it's one of those times. So what do you guys want to do? I'm not a great cover person either, unless like something just really like sticks out to me, then I can go with it. But I don't know. I just like making elements, like one element at a time, I think. And then somehow it all ends up working out together. Why did I do that? Oh, Khaleesi. That's cute. My little dog, she likes to see out the window that I'm at, because there's a little coon dog. Actually, I guess it's hound dog. I don't know. Is that the same thing? Coon dog, hound dog? Are they same? But she likes to look at him. So she always wants up here. Like this is, for me, Lori, when I do the inside, I literally go through all of my stuff. Like, I mean, I have a lot of stuff, but not a ton of stuff. So I have like a basket of papers and ephemeras and stuff. And I'll just, oh, we made 11. There's the other one. So I'll just go through and I'll look at like colors and just like if it goes, and I don't know what I'm doing with it, but I'm collecting it into a bucket. And with all that, I'm just going to start collecting stuff. Like I have these leaves I made. I don't know what I'm going to do with them, but I made, you know, different colored ones that will go along with my pattern. If I don't use them, not my pattern, but my theme, if I don't use them in this one, I'm sure at some point I'll use those leaves. And then like making little clusters. Like this is not something where I'm like, okay, for this page I gotta put something there, so I'm gonna make something to put there. This is just something that I made because I had paper and I had this cutout and I had, you know, this paper with these square holes at the top, and I was like, oh, that'd be cool to put some fabric through there. So I did it, and then eventually, you know, I'll have this box of stuff, and I can just, like this, I literally took some gesso, mixed in some paint, took a stencil, went over the stencil, and got this piece of paper. Now, I didn't make that for the journal, but I made it in the color scheme of the journal just in case I wanted to use it. I don't know if I'll use it. I might use it, but I just started collecting things and making things as individual pieces in the, like this. I was like, ooh, I like that stamp. I'm going to see what it looks like on this green paper. And so I did. And I was like, okay, well, now I got that. I can just add these two pieces of paper behind it. And guess what? That will go perfectly in there somewhere on some piece of paper. So that's just what I do. And then all the scraps and everything, any kind of metals, or even like I go through some of my Happy Mail stuff. And hi, Vicky. And then I just pick out stuff that would go with it. Like this comes from, oh goodness, her name is Gail. She's one of my friends on Junk Journal Junkies, and she sent me Happy Mail because I sent her a link to an Etsy shop where I get my eco-dyed paper. And so she sent me a huge thing, but like that's perfect for this journal. And she had no idea. I had no idea. This is just gessoing on a piece of paper with some green paint. Like that can be an element in any portion of my journal. So I totally get like not, I don't know, knowing what to do, or, but you just, like this was a mold that I painted in the color scheme. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I don't know if it's going to be part of something, but I'm sure it will be because I made it and I have it, and eventually my mind will create something with it. So, but, oh, Michelle, this is one L. This is what I was talking about when I put the paint in the clear gesso. Clear gesso and transparent gesso. Put the paint in it and went over the stencil. This is just a piece of music paper that was a scrap. Put that over top of it, but this will become part of the journal in some way, shape, or form. Either like just a strip of it or portion of it. I don't know. But I like to just do things and then it comes together eventually. Hopefully. These are die cuts. See that? I made those die cuts, but then these were left over, and I was like, oh, okay, I could probably back that on something. So I got a piece of scrap paper, backed it on scrap paper, and then I can just chop that, put a hole in it, and it's a tag now, just by making die cuts and collecting the pieces. So, all right. Here's another thing. Oh yeah, wallpaper. You can put wallpaper in your piano roll. Paper roll for you other people. Isn't the texture totally cool? Yeah, so the you could put wallpaper in there. This is so part of what was it? I made something with music paper, and I have this leftover. It was nothing. It's just the end of the page. You know, it's all torn up here, whatnot. Well, I just put down some tape. That's just tape, paper, cardboard, string, and a die cut, and then splash some paint on it. And now it's that, and I can put that as one of my something in my journal. And this happened only because I was watching somebody. Like I got inspired by watching somebody else do their journaling, and so I was like, oh, I'm gonna try it, even though I didn't really feel like it. I had tape and paper next to me, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do it, and that's just what happened. So I think when you start doing stuff, that's why my channel is called Inspired to Craft, because I'm literally inspired by people. Like, if it were up to me, like I'd be like, I don't have any ideas. But when I watch other people create, it makes me get creative also. So it inspires me at least to start doing something. And then another thing that I do is just, sorry. That's true. That's so true. Like this is ledger paper. When I start a journal, like I said, I go through all my things. I grab all the papers and whatnot, anything that I might possibly want to use or that goes along with what I'm doing. So I'm pretty sure that all of us use some kind of ledger or music or something in our journals like that, blank pages. You just grab those pages and then don't look at them as just pages that can go in there as like blank spots, but you can actually add decoration to them before they even get in your journal. And if you decorate them before they get in your journal, it's easier to place them in your journal, and it's easier to finish your journal because you've already done a lot of the decorations. Like you see these, like, I don't have to stamp or do anything on this page because I've got these decorations, and it's all it is 2 pieces of fabric to make the binding better and a piece of tape because I ripped it. Like, but that's decoration, that's color, that's texture, that's all the things you want to look at. And then this, I don't know if you guys can see the texture on that tape, but this tape, I love this tape so much because I use it to strengthen my stuff, but it also gives me texture, and it gives me something that's lighter than the color, or dark, not usually darker because it is white, but it gives me something that pops off the page. So it's more of an element that I'm using with a purpose, you know, for structural purposes, but it also has an aesthetic purpose. So just think of it like that. I don't know. I'm just talking now. This is the front of a stamp. The stamp that I used to emboss, it came in a wood box, not a wood box, cardboard box. I tore it off and put that on there. It's easy. So thanks, Michelle. I love yeah, I don't like mask making. It I mean, it's helpful in some regards, but it just doesn't make it personal for me. Like the journals that I like to make, like I want to create it, like, and be intentional about it. So I don't ever like replicate something like multiple times. You know, if I like the process, I'll do the process multiple times in different ways, but I never do it the same every time, because then it's just not. It's like if somebody's buying your stuff, you're just like, okay, I'm buying this. This is unique to this person. This is, you know, something that's beautiful. It's handmade. I don't want the same journal as Joe Schmo down the street, you know. I want my own journal from this person that creates this way, um, because I mean that's what art is, right? It's like a unique creation, not something that's done over and over and over and over and over. Now, I'm not saying like, you know, digital prints. Like digital prints are awesome, and you can use them throughout your journal in different ways. You know, different elements like that in different ways, but you can always alter them also. You don't have to use somebody else's work and keep it as somebody else's work. You can use it and create and add upon it. Those items to your right are beautiful. Okay, I think it's back. Yeah, it's backwards. So this is my left. This is my right. Okay. So I guess that is right. Yeah. Are you talking about these? This is what we made today, Vicki. You can go back and watch. But I made this one last night, but we started creating it today. It's piano roll for me, but it's paper roll for everyone else. So it's just basically like laying out papers and putting them together in a way that is just different and creates different textures and feels. Textures and feels does the same thing, right? Textures and aesthetics on different pages, but it's just in a roll. You glue it together, sew it, and then cut it to the size that you need. So these all came out of a roll of paper, and they're all different, and you never expect the results that you get out of making the paper roll and collaging the paper roll. It's like the masterboards when you cut them and make the tags, or make journal cards or whatnot. You never expect, like, because you see it like this. Like you see it like this, but when you cut it and you move it and you change it, it's just different, you know. It's not expected. So Welcome back, Angie. So, what do you guys want to do? Anything? I don't know. I feel like I've been talking forever about all the nothings. Oh, and then also when I collect the things, I put things in a thing. So all the things that I think I want to do or use or have started creating for this, or that go along with the color scheme or theme, I keep them together so that when I go through it, you know, I'm not looking like, oh, I put that, or ooh, what can I find? Like, it's all together. Of the leaf. Oh, okay. So you talking about this here? Talking about that, Vicky? Don't go. Okay. Okay. Let's do this. How about that? Are you guys prepared to do that? To look and watch and listen to me talk for longer? Oh, sorry. I just moved that. Yes. Okay. All right. So let me grab this paint down here. Hello. Okay. Let me think. I need to grab some paper. If you guys wanted to do it along with me, grab some textured elements. So like washi tape, book paper, any kind of, if you have any kind of textured tape, some cheesecloth or string if you have it. Let's see. Some, if you have any handmade paper, just things with different textures. So corrugated cardboard, die cuts, those kind of things. And then a paint. If you have any embossed paper, you can grab that too. That's good texture. You can use chipboard, paper that you have put some sewing stitches on. If you want to quick get some texture, just do some messy sewing on a piece of paper, and some glue. Oh, thanks, Paula. I have to go cut fabric. Oh gosh, have fun with that. I wish I could help you, but I'm too far away. I would help you. Oh, thanks, 1L. You're so kind. My face looks totally different since I've started keto. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever done keto or whole foods or like dropped out processed foods and sugar and whatnot, but my face looks so different. Like, it's brighter, it's thinner, I have like adult acne usually, but I don't have it anymore. So it's just so cool. I feel prettier now. 1L. So thanks for your comment. You're so sweet. Okay, I'm gonna go grab my stuff while you guys are grabbing your stuff. Grab some stamps too if you want. Sorry, for the noise. I'm coming. I'm still here. I'm gathering. Sorry. Let's see. Okay. If you want to use a stencil, you can with modeling paste to get texture. I'm going to grab some grab color paper that you like in your choice of color. Book paper with some words on it. Okay, thanks for watching, Angie. Oh, bye, Pearl. Have a good day. Okay, let's see. Book pages. Okay. All right. I've got cardboard, yellow paper, green. I like all these papers. Let me get some string. Let's see if I can find some. You can have string or lace. I like cheesecloth. I'm going to throw this up here real quick just to look through. Sorry. I know my cheesecloth is in here somewhere. There it is. Oh, hey, Penny, welcome back. Now we've moved on from paper rolls to mixed media. So we're gathering some things if you want to play. Okay. Let's see, I think I need a little bit more texture. I don't know if I said this already, but you could do like, if you don't have this kind of tape with the texture on it, you could do some lace in the background or appliques. You can do whatever style you want, grungy, pretty, shabby. What else? Paper, paper, paper. For any, if you want to do some kind of ink splashes, you will need some ink and water, or and a paintbrush or sprays. So I'm gonna do ink, or excuse me, I'm gonna do acrylic paint, watered down. So I'll get some acrylic paint, a brush, and some water. I'm gonna make sure this isn't stuck together. Okay. Acrylic paint, some water. Of course, you need glue. Don't forget the glue. If you want to get all fanciful, you can do some embossing for texture also. Use these inks. Move some of the stuff out of the way. And then find, if you have little die cuts, you can use like this kind of thing, or you can get them out of like paper packs, like 49 Market has the cutouts in the back. Ready, Coach? Okay. I'm not ready. Wait. Okay. Have one last thing. Still here. You can hear me. Okay. I don't know what I do with my paper pack. What I want to use. It's fine. Okay, and I guess I need something to start on, yeah. Okay. Just gonna pick one of these little cutouts. And I need a piece of paper. Bless you. Bless you. Okay, let me find my thick paper real quick, just because I want to use it for my journal, and I want to use this type of paper. Okay. So, you're going to take your whatever you have. Can you guys hear me fine? Ooh, embossing on vellum. So much fun. I love embossing. I like watching it. I just love watching it change. Are you talking about like embossing folders, or are you talking about embossing powder? Which type of embossing? Okay. So I'm going to take this. Like I said, this one's going to be for my journal. You guys can do whatever size paper you want, or you can do it on a canvas or whatever medium you want. I would just use something that's able to hold up to glue and the ink spray if that's what you're wanting to use. So, not ink spray, but ink splatter, excuse me. Of course, now I've moved everything. I can't find my ruler. Here it is. Sorry. Okay, here we go. I'm in it. I'm going to cut this paper down real quick, okay? Because I need to have it to a size that I'm going to use in my journal. Let's see. I think I'm going to do just a small one. Let's see. I'll just do 3 inches. How about that? No, 3 inches is not big enough. Let's do 4 inches. So if yours is already the size you want it, perfect. Awesome sauce. Cutting mine down. Okay. And then I'm going to do, let me see. Since this is going to be my centerpiece, I already know that. I'm going to do a little bit on the top, a little bit of area on the top and bottom. Okay. And then what you want to do is make your, what's it called, composition. So figure out which way you want to do it. Now, this is a small piece. If yours is bigger, you can go wherever you want. Just what I like to do is just take it and I put it where my eye likes it. Okay. So I like it down there. Now I can do it up here, but I don't like that as much. I just like that there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make everything is going to go in a backwards L shape. That's how I'm going to do it. Okay. You can do it if you wanted to, where it was like this and your composition went across your page. You just want to make sure that you're putting it somewhere that looks good to you and that you can decorate around it. So I'm going to put it down here a wee bit. I don't like this, no sticks. Oh, I have a stick. Maybe I don't have it. Let me think about it, Jamie. I might have a teeny tiny stick that I can use. Okay, so that's my centerpiece. That's what we're doing. And now I know we're going this way in a backwards L. Do whatever you want. You can go in a, I don't know what it's called, in a corner, 90 degree, boop, any corner. That's usually a safe bet, okay? So go up and sideways, boop, or like this, or like this, or like this, okay? Now we're going to start by putting down some texture. We're going to go in an L shape. And what I'm going to do, because I love this tape so much, and you can put down your laces or whatever, I'm going to decide, I don't want to go all the way up because I want to leave this area kind of blank, like this whole area here. So I'm going to measure this a wee bit, chop her off. And you can do this, like I said, with lace or appliques or any sort of texture that you want. Now I know that I don't want it this big because this is really big compared to the size of the page. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it, and I'm going to weird cut it. Did you see how I was just haphazardly cutting? And now I'm peeling. I'm taking off the pieces that I don't want. Okay, because it doesn't matter if it's straight. Matter of fact, me personally, I don't want anything straight. Okay. So this is going to go down, and this is just for fun. Okay, guys. So it doesn't have to be perfect. We're just doing it for fun. Enjoy the process. We're going to put texture down. That's the whole point right now, texture. All right. I don't care if these things are sticking out. I don't care if they're crooked. I'm just doing it. I'm going to move these up here so I don't get everything on them. All right, now when I do this, I'm not going to put a straight L. That's not how I'm going to do it. I'm going to do a little bit of a line and then kind of like this. It's not perfectly in the middle. It's a little bit lower. You can do yours a little bit higher, whatever. I'm just not going to do 90-degree angles. Okay. Now, let's think about it. We're going to do some more texture. So what kind of texture can I use? We talked about it before. You can use tape. You can use, sorry, let me move up forward so you can see what I'm doing. Sorry about all this wreck over here. Let me move it. Okay. So now I'm just gonna start stacking, okay? So I don't like that straight edge. You can leave a straight edge if you want. I'm not going to, because I want it to be, I'm going for like a rustic look. So I'm gonna put this, it's probably too long. Put it there. It doesn't have to be on top of it perfectly. It doesn't have to be aligned with it perfectly. I'm just putting it there. That's just how it's gonna go. And let's see, I might pick a different. I'll leave that one in there. Okay. So more texture. This is my embossing folder paper that I was going to use in my journal, but I chopped half of it off because it's fine. And so I'm going to put it, let's see. So basically I'm just building up this L shape, semi-L shape. I don't know if you still call it L. And I'm going to glue that down. If you guys have any questions throughout, just ask me, and I'll try to answer. You don't need to work, Tina. We're all retired here. I'm kidding. Okay, my glue has abandoned me. You could use also on this to make it a lot faster to get down, just like a gel medium, soft gel. So you don't have to worry about Fabri-Tac if this is bothering you, if it bothers you, that you have to wait for 5 million years like it bothers me. Does it bother anybody else? Oh, look. Oh, I see what's happening. Okay, I had 2 pieces of paper, that's why. Broke. Sorry if that weird buying sheep noise was loud. Okay. Okay. Now, this really is a lot easier when you're using a liquid glue like the soft gel or matte gel, just because you can brush it on and lay it down. It makes it so much faster. So if you have that, I would definitely recommend that. Let's see, next we'll do some paper. And I don't like that white space. I don't need all of this paper. So I'm going to tear some of it and I'm going to use some of it. I'll use that part. Doesn't matter where you use it. We're just remember, we're building up this composition. Look at that. That's so gross. Ooh, maybe I like that back part better. Yes, get out those thin bare brushes. Don't like waiting. Yeah, good. Me neither. What can't you wrap your head around, Lori? The glue? Okay, let's see. Now, get some color in there. You don't have to put color in there if you don't want to. It's up to you, but I'm going to add a little bit of a muted green to the back, kind of like I did on here. And then I'm going to bring the green out to the front. And yeah, I'm going to do it in the same colors. So I'm debating on whether I'm going to do green splatter also or just yellow. But for now, let me get... Ooh, I know what I'm going to use. Some fancy paper from my friend. 1L. Okay. So I'm going to stick glue. No. She said, no, I will not. I'm not doing it. Okay, see how we built that up? That's our composition, right? That's what we chose to do at the beginning. At least I did, the L going this way. So I'm just stacking up the layers, stacking them up. I want them different sizes, different, what's it called? Different layering effect, I guess you could say. And then the green, what did I do with the green? You can bring in a darker color, or you can bring in a darker color with paper or with washi tape, whatever you want to use. Oh, sorry. So I think this is going to be my last. You see how I've built that up now? Then once I build this up, the L up, then I'm going to build it out. Does that make sense? And then when I build it out, it's going to be more stackable. More stackable, is that right? Am I saying that right? Anyways, the point is texture, building, composition, and then building out. And this is how I incorporate the mixed media into my journals. Because this is what you would do on a paper, you know, you would just collage a paper or add a pocket to the bottom. Well, it's the same. I'm still doing an element. It's just going to be an element that is more dimensional. So, all right, let's see. I like how that looks. And then you can take whatever centerpiece you've done and you can bring it and see how you like it. I like how that is. I like the way that it's spaced from the edges. I like the length it is, and that there's still this blank space, and not only the blank space up here, but also the blank space down here. That it's not going to be too crowded. So I like that. I'm not going to put this down yet because remember, I've got my composition in my L, but now I'm bringing it out. So now I'm going to add dimension. Now I want to find my corrugated cardboard, which isn't this so cool? It's green. What? It's the my prebiotics came in it, and I'm stoked about it because this is perfect timing. I just got it, like, just got them 2 weeks ago, and look, they're even in a green bottle. I love it. But this came perfect timing. This came on the same day that Finna Bear was doing her class her journaling class. I don't know if any of you guys are her patrons, but she was doing a journaling class. She just came back from her trip to Poland and other areas that she went to. But she was teaching us what she had learned in her class, and it was the journaling thing. Same thing she just shared in her latest video with the, yeah, it was her latest video, the journaling technique thingy doodad. But this came on the same day, and it was just sitting here on my desk, and she was getting started, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna start. And then I was like, I have green corrugated cardboard. So excited. Okay, does anybody need any help with anything? Questions? I mean, I'm totally not an expert, so, but I'll help you as much as I can. What is it? What are you talking about, Jamie? You talking about the green corrugated cardboard? If so, it came in the mail with my my prebiotics, or my symbiotics, excuse me. They're a prebiotic and a probiotic to help me get good gut bacterias. I know that's what you guys want to know about my gut. You're welcome. Okay, let me put this corrugated cardboard down because I like that there. Humbug. Okay, I'm gonna have to get some soft gel out. Let me grab that. Let me grab it quickly. Hold on. Sorry for all the noise. I'm gonna close this drawer. I love your good gut. Thanks. I love it too. It's so nice. Okay, there we go. That's my paint in there. Don't look at it. It's gross. Okay. Oh, you know what? I'm going to do something real quick that I forgot that I wanted to do. And that is add a little bit more texture with stamping. So you can take like, I prefer, oh, you know what? I need to get archival ink because I'm going to be putting stuff over top of this one. Let me grab that real quick out of the drawer again with the drawer. Black. There we go. Okay, and so I'm using archival ink. I'm sure you guys already know, because when you get the distress ink wet, it runs everywhere. So I'm going to take these papers over here. I'm going to turn this over since it's a baby pad. And then I'm going to stamp this off because I don't want it too bright. And then I like this, so I'm just going to go like this. Boop. Now you see that there's just a little bit of extra in the background that, I mean, you don't have to have, but when you are looking at this, I don't know if you can see in there. See, I don't have to have it, and you can't really see a ton of it, but you can see a little bit over here of the stamping. So I think it's just fun to do that, to add some different elements, some different things to look at. So when you look at it the first time, you might miss it, but then when you look at it a second time, you're like, oh wow, that's there. Okay. I'm gonna use my finger because I don't care. Don't have art guard, darn it. Still haven't got that stuff. Okay. So now I'm going to do my corrugated cardboard. Thanks, Michelle. This is my first class ever. You guys are so privileged. And this is not a class, by the way. I'm no expert. I have no education in regards to art. So it is what it is. This is me at home doing my own personal thing. Take caution. Okay, let's see. Now, I like to take my centerpiece every now and again and just measure it up between like where I'm putting things so that it looks good. Now I could, since I did that way, I could do this. I could do it horizontal, vertical. It doesn't matter either way. Whatever looks best, put it down, look at it, change it if you want. Doesn't matter. So let me see. I like that actually. I think so. I'm gonna do vertical. What do you think? Should I have done horizontal? Horizontal? Sorry, it's too late. Should have spoke up sooner. I'm kidding. Sorry. I get a little crazy as the day goes on. Okay, now, because this one that I'm choosing, well, I could just take that off, but I like that. I like that leaf there. So what I'm going to do, because I want it to be lifted up off the page, I'm going to put something under that leaf when I glue it down so that it's elevated also, like the flower will be elevated. Oh, you know what? Hold on. Okay, I gotta poke out these little doodads here. This is a little chipboard piece from 49 and Market. So let me get all these extra spots out real quick. Can you, does this have a thing on the back? No, it's not sticky. I knew that already. Okay, stop tearing off there. I didn't realize there were so many pieces on here. Okay. Okay, well there's that, and now I'm going to get a little piece ready for that leaf. Obviously, if you don't have something like that, you don't have to do that. But if there's any part of your, once we build it out, if there's any part of your center focal point or elements that are laying down that are floppy or not on level with your piece, then just be cognizant of that and fix it if you want. If you don't want, okay. Might not look as good, but it might. Who knows? Okay, so I'm going to take, I think I'm just going to fold a piece of cardboard a little bit. Since it's green, the corrugated cardboard, I'm going to put, I don't know if this is going to work out, but I'm going to try it. Okay. Put a little bit there. I'm gluing the back and I glued it together so that now that it's stick to my finger, I don't want it there, it's going to stick to the leaf. So now it's got a little bit of dimension on the back, a little bit of elevation in its height. So this is another thing actually. This is a choice that you get to make. Okay, do you want to do the splatters now before you put down your centerpiece, or do you want to do it after you want to put down your centerpiece? So I don't want my centerpiece to have yellow or green splatters all over it. So an option would be to just cover it up with a piece of paper, or we could just splatter now and paste it down after it's all done. Let's see, I'm gonna grab some of this. Sorry, I'm off the screen. I'm gonna grab this, what's it called? This thing, you know what it's called. Not a cheesecloth, thank you. You're so kind. I'm gonna grab this and I'm gonna kind of shred it. Like, I don't want it to be cheeseclothy like. I just want the goodies. Just want the strings. And so sorry. How's everybody doing? Anybody have any questions? Are you doing your own project too? Or are you just watching? Okay. So this is going to be too much. I already know that it's going to be too bulky. I'm not going to like it. So what I am going to do right now, I'm going to make sure that I have enough of this that it's going to be prominent behind my doodad centerpiece. Okay, so I like that there. I think that's sufficient. So far, great, good. Yay! Okay, do I need to slow down or everybody's caught up? Because I'm getting ready to get out the paint and the water and do some splashies. Because I'm going to splash mine before I put down my center. Do I need to wait while you guys catch up a little bit? No, it's totally fine. If so, it's also totally fine. Okay. Doing good, coach. Woohoo! Okay, I've got my yellow. I'm going to do yellow first. I don't know technically if there's a better method than light to dark. I don't know if it, like, it's a technical thing. Like, you should go dark to light or whatnot. I don't care. Just doing it. This is yellow. This I love, and look, it looks just like my straw paper. It's called Yellow Ochre. It was 50% off, and it's not showing up true to color on here. Like, my hand is more realistic, but it's still like a yellowy, excuse me, more orangey, like straw paper color. So I'm just gonna add some water. You can do this in a container if you want. I just think it's easier to do it like this. I put too much paint on here, so you don't have to use as much paint as I did. But what I want to do is make it liquidy, right? So so that it's fluid. If you want, you can use liquid acrylics for this. So this would be great. You can even water those down since they're so intense. But okay, here we go. I'm doing this. I forgot to use my transparent paper. Darn z's. Okay, I'm gonna get something to hit my paintbrush on. Okay. Now I'm just tapping it. Okay. So if you want it, do you see my big blobs? They're not very liquidy. You can just add in some more water. Add them where you want them. So I like to do. I just like to do all over. I don't really care. I like small ones. I like big ones. Yeah, so I'm just going to put it all over. You take yours, and this would be a lot different depending on the size brush you use. So if Michelle Scott ever got her Finnabair brushes out, she would know that yeah, her paint splatters would be different, much superior to any regular old Dollar Tree paintbrush. Okay, that's what I'm doing for my yellow. Now I just wasted a bunch of yellow. That's totally fine because I have all that yellow. Okay, so I did my splatters, and like I said, if you use a bigger brush, which I don't have a clean one because I've ruined all of my paintbrushes. Yes, I've ruined my Rare paintbrushes. I think I need some more, or some paint thinner to get all the dried paint off of it. But oh, poop. Okay, I thought I got paint on my dress. Never mind. So there's that. Now I think I'm gonna do some green also. No, no, I won't do it. Never using them. Okay. Let's see, paintbrush. That's what happens. I use a paintbrush and then I set it down and I can't find it, so I go get a different paintbrush, and then that paintbrush dries, and so yeah, it's just a cycle. It's a never-ending cycle. Thanks, Penny P. So we're still on the, well, right now we're doing the paint, the splatters. You don't have to do this if you don't want. You could use, like I said, ink. You could just take your distress ink and pat it down on whatever you're using. You could use like your stamp block. If you don't have, oh poop, that was way too big. It's totally fine. You could use your stamp block if you don't have a little glass mat, or you could use a little whatever. Use something, a little container, doesn't matter. If you use a bigger brush with one color versus the other color, you would see a difference in the splatters. So the bigger the brush, the bigger your splatters. So like if I wanted to make the green splatters bigger, I use a bigger brush and then change it to a smaller splatter by using a smaller brush. So and then also when you're smacking it, so the first hits, you know, are obviously going to be bigger. That's where your big stuff's at. And then once you tap it down even further, you can see when I bring this up that you get really teeny tiny splatters, and they're not as intense. So that's how we do that. Clean that up. This is my tea cloth that I got from Walmart that I clean everything off of here with. Good. And then I am going to dry this a little bit because I don't want my element to smear the paint. So I'm going to dry it up a little bit. Sorry, it's going to be loud for a sec. Next, I'm going to put down the cheesecloth, or you can put lace behind it, or whatever kind of, anything that really just makes your center element stand out from the background. So you know, if you have a dark element, you want to use a lighter thing to pop it out. Almost done. I think I'm going to take, oh, don't ruin it. I'm going to take some of this off. Okay. Maybe a little bit more. This is a big, huge clump of paint. So there we go. Liz, how are you? I came on here to show a piano, daggone it, a paper roll that I made last night. And it turned into a paper roll crafting, and then it turned into a mixed media session. So we're just having fun crafting. What are you doing? You didn't. Sorry, I just came on at like 9:45 this morning. I have no idea what time it is currently. Oh my gosh, this is 1:02. Holy smizers. Okay, now I know how this happens, 1L. All right, so I think this is dry enough. There might be a few spots that will smear. That's fine, because I like that. See that rounded piece of paint? I like that. So once it dries, it'll pretty much stay intact. It's totally fine. Now I'm going to use my cheesecloth that I did have the way that I wanted it, but now it's not. It's okay. We'll fix it. So let me open this. This is irritating me just for a second. Hold on. That's so crazy, Jamie. I cannot believe that. Like, it feels like it's been like an hour and a half at most. Okay, so now this is pretty much where I want that, because I want my centerpiece there. How does that look? I think I like it like that. Now, this is the part, so because we put so much, well, not so much, but we put a lot of depth in this. So to get it to stay, we're going to have to use something that really just will go down to the depths. Now, if you have all the space underneath of it that's at the same level, it's not going to be that challenging. But because we've stepped this down so much with the corrugated cardboard and the paper, I'm going to have to press down a wee bit on it. And so for that, I'm just going to use my, oh, you know what? I'm going to use 3D matte gel, because that's pretty good at holding stuff. I could use a soft matte gel, but I use that for different things. So I'm just going to do the 3D matte gel. Thanks, Liz. You're so sweet. 3D matte gel. Here we go. Okay. Again, I'm just going to use my finger. I'm going to need some more of this soon. To my supplier. All right. So I'm just going to tap this down in the general location that I want my cheesecloth. And then I'm just going to push it down a little bit. I don't have to do it too much, because this 3D matte gel will dry in a 3D area. So it'll be raised when it dries. It doesn't like sink down to the bottom or anything. So I'm going to do that, and then I might take a wee bit of this off just so I can get some of that yellow peeking through there. I like that yellow there. Okay, and then I'm going to put this. I'm going to goop it up. Oh, I've missed a point. Where'd my needle go? Ooh. Sorry. I'm trying to get this piece out before I glue it up. There we go. Okay. So then, since I'm putting the 3D matte gel on, I could have done without that cardboard there. Heck on it. I thought I got that out. Boop, boop, boop. So I'm gonna, oh, what I was saying, since I did the 3D matte gel, I could do without that cardboard piece that I put under that floppy leaf that we had earlier. But it's fine. Okay, here we go. I like that. I like that. And we're committed. Boop, 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 boop. Okay. Please, if possible, get your camera closer. Yes, ma'am. Oh, you know what? How do I do that? I don't even know how to zoom in on a camera. I don't know. Let me show you up here. How about that? I'm going to put a little bit more gel under here. And then I'm going to, boop. See that? Can't see it, but so what I'm trying to show you is that underneath that leaf there, I put a big thing of glue, 3D matte gel, and it'll glue like that. So I'm going to do the same thing over here. And so when I put it down, I got a little bit on here, but that's okay because it's going to dry matte. It's not going to dry glossy. So I'm going to put that right there also. My fear doesn't stand a chance. Sorry. Oh, sorry. I like to sing. Okay, so I'm going to get a little bit of that glue out that I messed up. I'm just going to do that with a paintbrush. Move it over a little bit underneath so it dries up perfect. Probably not perfect, but good enough. Scoop it out of there. Okay, and now let's see. Make sure it's glued everywhere else. I'm going to put a little more glue under here. Oh no, don't take it. There we go. Whew. Okay, I'm going to take that glue out. See, do you see the excess glue there? Right there? I'm just scooping that out. Because I don't want that to, you'll be able to see that when it's dried. And then I'll put some under the stem. Okay. And then I think we're done. How are you guys doing on yours? Are you guys finished? I'm glad I did a small scale. I like working on this size because it gets really challenging. Not challenging, but harder to come up with like elements to fill in. That's what that is. Okay, let me cut this real quick. I don't like you, little string. Okay, so here we go. This is it from this level. And then you can see all the details. You can see, oh, you know what I forgot, guys? usually to get the background farther in the back, so it looks more dimensional and not so up front in your face. Usually you'll put like a light coat of gesso on, but I didn't do that. You can see, I don't know if you can see the difference. But in this one, some of the elements are like back in the back. Like this green right here is the same green as I used right there, but it's different because it's pushed backwards with the gesso. So it's more in your face on the new one. And like this right here, this embossing, and I can still go over some of these things with transparent or white gesso. But sorry, I'm out of frame, aren't I? Okay, how do you like that? It was pretty simple, right? You just pick where you want it, pick your composition, leave some blank space, so it doesn't seem so overcrowded, and then just build up your composition, the shape of your composition. So we build up this shape, this L shape. And remember, we didn't do a 90-degree L, but we did a straight line with the L, the backwards L, a little bit higher. And then once you build up that composition, then you build up in your dimension, in your stuff. Your stuff. You know what I mean? That word, stuff. So how do you like it? You guys done? You guys, was that easy? It was fun. Now I got another piece for my journal. What? And also you could, how we did the stamping in the background, you could also do like the coffee cup ring, or you could take a stencil and make some stencil marks back there. Whatever you want. It's all about texture, dimension, and composition. And when you do those things, it just looks good to your eye. So it's my 2 cents anyways. I don't really know anything just from watching other people. Okay. Penny Pete, I cannot believe it's been 3 hours. Like, it's nuts. So have fun. But you were here when we started the paper roll, right? We did that. I showed everybody what I did last night with my paper roll. And then we did a new paper roll, just showing how to put things down and glue them up and stuff. And then we did some stamping, some embossing a little bit, and then we went back through my paper roll and cut it down to my size and just showed how different it looks from what you originally will think it'll look like on your paper roll to what it actually looks like, and how everything just changes once you get it cut down, folded, and put some paper in between it. It just totally changes everything. And then we just got into this. This took way less time than all that stuff did. You're welcome. I think I'm going to get off here. I need to go eat something. It's been a long time. So I need to eat and get some coffee. I tried to drink tea this morning. It didn't happen. My tea's still here. Still filled. And now it's freezing cold. So I'm going to go eat, get coffee, and maybe make some more elements. I don't know. I love this. It's so much fun. You're very welcome. I loved sharing with you guys. Hopefully I can get on and do this a little bit more often, especially with the kiddos in school. So, and now I've got the webcam and I have a microphone set up and it's quiet other than my dog's barking in the background. So hopefully I'll be here more. It'll be so much fun. I'm going to go now. Thank you guys for joining me today. Thanks for sticking with me this whole time. Can't believe it's been this long, but it was a blast, and I'll see you guys next time. Love ya.